Well, I guess they're going to make a liar out of me today. But maybe tomorrow I'll get you, beavers. Yeah, yesterday they were they're making so much racket while I was here, and today they're not making any racket at all. So I think they come out of here, and they obviously coming out of over there. The entrance is just somewhere around there. I will get onto that beaver house, but maybe not today. The ice was thin there, so I thought, well, maybe they're coming out of the bank too. Yesterday you could hear them going under the ice, all the noise they made. Yeah, no, they're going to make a liar out of me today. Weird. But I don't want to disturb them too much either, because I might chase them away before we get a chance to catch them. And I'm going to have to catch them. Alright, so I'm going to head back. It's very quiet right now. Alrighty, so it's getting late in the day. Where's the trail out of here again? I can never find the trail in or out of here properly. It's somewhere around here. I was going to get more set up pretty soon. If I'm going to be doing under ice trapping, that's where I got to do it, is right at the beaver house. Here's the trail. I'm sure this is it. Gotta watch your eyes going through this stuff. For the trees and the treetops, and yeah, those little buggers. Yesterday you could hear them munching and chattering and moving under the ice, and today nothing. That's rude, and for that very reason I will declare war on them. Okay, oh, this nice rifle, I'm gonna take it. It's getting late in the day now. Must be just around 3. I thought for sure I'd have a fur today, but nope, doesn't work like that. You never know what you're going to get on the trap line, and it is very physically demanding, that's for sure. Yeah, the goal is to get a few more furs for sure, because the furs are just starting to get good now, and now's when you know, like if I had everything set up, I would probably do a different strategy. I wouldn't be at these guys until near the end of my trapping season, part of the season, because these guys, oh, more snow down the neck. Because these guys are close to home, what I would rather do, and what I'll probably do next year, is the beavers way the hell out on that other property that I got to go to. Still haven't been there. I've only been there to visit it once, but haven't been able to get in there yet. What I'd do is I'd have the furthest beaver houses, trap them out first, and then whatever your quota is, if it's 4 beavers per house that you want to trap, or 6, or just trap them until you get nothing, and then move the trap closer, and then move the trap closer, so it just gets easier for you throughout the season. So that's how the pioneers used to do it, is they always hunted the furthest from home early in the season, so late in the season they could work their way back home, right? That way they didn't have to go as far. Because, you know, especially back then, you know, they were doing everything on foot, kind of much like I am now, but they had to travel a lot further because, you know, they basically had to live all year round on wild meat and all that. Boy, that light's really fading fast. I'm getting hungry too. I haven't eaten breakfast. I haven't eaten today yet. I get up and I just go until I'm done. You know, like, it's like, does take a lot out of you. Yeah, so the trapping strategy that I want to do with the beaver next year is going to be more along that lines, is basically start far out and work my way in. And that other beaver dam, when I get there, again, this year I'm not too worried about it, because number one, I wasn't well set up. I mean, really, for next season, during this season when you start planning for next season, right? And what you do is you come up with a strategy and, you know, a list of equipment and everything throughout, you know, the spring and the summer. You plot new courses of where you're gonna you know, trap and stuff like that. So what I want to do this spring, if I'm going to trap next year, which I may have to depending on my income, because right now, like, there's just really nothing. Although I did get paid today, I didn't get paid very much. How did this rifle get all full of snow? See what I mean? That's why your equipment gets all wrecked. In the pre-season, if you mark the entrances of all the beaver houses you're going to trap, when it comes time to find the entrance when there's ice, you've got flags sticking up out of the ground saying chop here. It'll save you probably hours worth of labor trying to find a lot of, you know, like sometimes on a beaver house you think here's the entrance, and it's like that's where the entrance used to be. Now they use the other one, and you can have like 1 to 3, maybe even 4 entrances on a beaver house, right? And you have to trap all the entrances at once, or else you might catch one beaver, but you'll never catch another one after that. If they have another way to go out, they'll just keep going out the other way, and that's just kind of the way it is. So little tips like that are very, very fruitful when you plan things out, because picture having, say, 20 or 30 beaver dams and a quota of 4 beavers or beaver houses, a quota of 4. Okay, you could get everything all ready. You could trap for a month, maybe 2 months during peak fur season. Okay, what that means is that when the fur's the most prime, you're trapping, so you're not catching furs that aren't worth hardly anything. Numbers don't matter if they're not worth anything, right? Unless it's just strictly conservation that you're doing. But if you are doing it that way, the advantage you get is that you can fill your quota very early on, and then you could take the rest of the trapping season to, you know, skin them and flesh them and doing all that. Mind you, got to do this while you're doing all that stuff too. You can't just leave a beaver carcass in the freezer for a month, you know what I mean? You'll never be able to skin them and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, you got to manage it, but if you manage it right, you can catch quite a few beaver. I think I could probably 4 animals a week. 4 beavers a week would be a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. That's like half your week right there. But you could pace it so that you could get it done at a reasonable time. Like I say, the fleshing with the beavers, the nice thing with them is they're so greasy and fat. Whatever, if you put them in the freezer, you know, the sooner you get to it, the better. But they will, you know, you could take one pelt, completely flesh it. If it takes 2 fleshings, 3 fleshings, depending on how fat it is and greasy and all that, you do that, and then you move on to the next. You could, you know, fold it back up, put it in. Things like foxes, coyotes, mink, muskrats, you pretty much have to deal with them the day you get them, or else they'll dry out on you. So you don't skin it until you dry out. But the problem is like wolves, for example, they'll rot like within hours. They start to turn gray. The bellies start turning gray on you. It's quite gross. So you got to deal with them really quickly. So yeah, even if you find a way to catch 100 animals in a night, can you deal with that? So you have to manage it. Say, okay, well, I can catch this many, and then when I'm ready, I'll go catch those ones, and then when I'm ready, I'll go catch those ones. And then you can pace yourself so that you don't box yourself into a corner and get overwhelmed. Especially if you're doing it all by yourself, right? It's a lot of work for one man. You know, like it's a lot of work. So planning out is going to be your big thing. And one thing is, when you watch these trapping channels and shows, you could have picked up stuff like beware the freaking slippy ice. My God, that's nasty today. And this is why safety is paramount. This is why I don't carry a rifle on my back. That's on the road there. Can't really point in that direction, but because if you fell with this on across your back, you'd probably break your back. You definitely damage the rifle. But the point is when you're watching these, sometimes you're just going to pick up stuff and not realize you're picking up stuff. So you really have to pay attention to detail of when people are talking about their setups and why they're doing it the way they're doing it. And they'll say stuff like, I used to do it this way, but then I did this and blah, 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 and whatever, and you don't think about it. And they'll mention it so fast in passing that you miss the tip. Little things like, for example, of double snaring for lynx and stuff like that, where a cubby's good, but if they can see right through, it seems like it works better, according to some other people that have been a bit more successful at it. The wolves with the hills and the creek, you know what I mean? So I want to explain these details to you, but I might forget to explain the detail because you know, you're so busy and wrapped up in it trying to get it all done that you don't mention it there and then later in another video it's like, oh yeah, don't forget to put the chain up high so that when the wolf pulls on the snare, he comes off his front feet so he can't pull as hard, you know, stuff like that. Rear leg captures with footholds, why they're harder to do, but if you catch an animal, they bed down, they don't struggle as much. Little things like that you pick up in passing a lot of times, unless somebody's getting really specific on trying to, you know, here's all the steps, 1, 2, 3. It never really works like that because it's just you're too busy. You're always managing what's the next thing to do, right? Like when I go home, I'm not done for the day, you know.